All right, here we go. Okay, so we are starting the second week of the major North American Pro League. We have the two teams. It is Hawk across Jaeyoon and Razz against Gypsy, Artosis, KAIDO, and BoA. So looks like some pretty good teams there. Should be a fun one. The team captains, of course, Hawk and BoA. They have done the best previously. And this is going to be 4 matches with an ace match at the end if it's tied 2-2. And if it is not tied 2-2, then one side just wins. Then we're going to go to Winners League, where the winner stays. And after the Winners League, if it's tied up, we'll have a super ace match, and there will be a draw to see is it the player who's lost the most, won the most, or a random player that will be playing in the super ace match. So anyone could end up playing in that this week. All right, so very cool rule set, very cool set of players here as well. We're starting off here on Polypoid. In the top right, we have Hawk, the team captain, very, very strong Zerg vs. Terran player. And in the top left, the best foreign Terran in Gypsy. So he's going for a forward 8 racks to open up here. You can see he's making the wall behind it as well. Let's see what Hawk goes with. Is he going to go for a hatch first? It does look that way right now. Pretty unlikely, I think, to see him go for a 12 pool. So, yeah, it does look like it's going to be the hatch first, and it's going to be close spawns as well. So, with those close spawns, that is going to become kind of a difficult thing to block correctly. But his Overlord is going to find it very quickly. Now, this is a super, super popular build that we have right now in Terran vs. Zerg. Everyone's doing these forward 8 racks openers. Walling behind them, able to defend very, very easily against any sort of early pools or lane aggression. But when you scout it very quickly, a lot of Zergs pull quite a few drones down and just, like, over-counter it. Now, generally, I think Terran gets slightly ahead against that anyways. And Gypsy's going to be very good at this without any doubt. Looks like we have very good latency here as well, as you can see, which is a nice change for Battle.net. And yeah, I mean, a lot of this will come down to micro and a little bit of decision-making as well. So the first Marine, first 2 SCVs going over. Gypsy scouting in this main base. And, well, let's see how many drones get pulled. That's kind of the big thing here. How many drones will he actually send to fight against this? Putting a little bit of damage already. Starts a bunker. Now, the back bunker is something you can just run back to. So even though this is so far away, obviously you can't hit anything. It allows you a spot to micro forward and put down a secondary bunker. Now, you see he's bringing a lot of drones like I was talking about before, right? This is a lot of drones. I guess this one is not coming at the moment. That might be for a sunken colony. And he gets the SCV to stop making. Okay, loses 2 drones already. And, okay, gonna get 2 of the Marines. Ooh, gonna lose a 3rd drone. And you know what? Like, it's pretty much held at this point. You can't lose that drone. You absolutely cannot. But losing 3 drones, I don't think anyone would consider this to be a Hawk advantage. This should be a Gypsy advantage at this point. Killing 4 is very, very nice. Or at 3 drones is very, very nice. At 2, that's kind of the borderline. So he's killed 3. All those Marines did end up dying. He did cancel this off as well, the bunker. But the tech of Hawk is going to be a lot slower now. And, you know, we have like a few lings out. A lot of times you're just going to see the drones kind of sent to the natural to mine from this point. But this is a tough position. You know, neither of them can do anything to each other because first off, we have a wall in for Gypsy, but also he has very little production, right? He's making 1 Marine at a time. And then on Hawk's side, everything has been kind of stifled. Everything has been kind of slowed down at this point. But I did just see him spend a bunch of gas. So it looks like he's going Zergling speed. Yeah. He's going Ling speed, it looks like. So, like, there's a possibility he tries, like, okay, Ling speed here against a wall, I don't think is very good at all because you have to squeeze everything through there. So it doesn't seem too realistic. Now, there is the play where you say, you know what? He'll probably walk out to try to pressure me, and I'll surround the army. And that's how I can get ahead with my Ling speed. Again, I think Ling speed is on the way, but obviously, you know, we don't have the regular, like, production tabs that you get in StarCraft 2 or something like that. But I'm fairly certain I saw that gas go down like that. Either way, this is a very quick engineering bay as well as academy from Gypsy, so he's not going to be doing the early move out, most likely. Occasionally, you'll see someone with a very good read walk out with like 7 Marines and a medic. But if he does that and it's a bunch of Zerglings, he's just going to die. So hopefully for Gypsy's sake, he's going to stay back. A lot of Lings coming out right now in this SCVCs. Okay, Ling speed. That's quick Ling speed. Quite a few Lings going across the map. But yeah, how are you going to break that? You're not going to break that. So now he's got all these Lings. Now, again, if you walk out as Gypsy, you're going to get surrounded, and it's going to be like a very tough one. So... oh my god, he's trying to break in. It is so hard to get through this little wall. You see the SCV coming up. He's trying to target it. This is bad news right now for Hawk. Hawk is incredibly far behind at this point. Okay, like this, I would be very surprised if Hawk's able to fight back here. Gypsy's going to have like kind of everything going on for himself, right? Like if Stim's not done, it will be soon, and he'll be getting into his range upgrade. You know, he's got the +1 attack on the way. Now, one thing you can do, because the Marines pop out on the outside, is he can run up and surround those Marines. Gypsy will be rallying them back into this corner for maximum damage from the Marines behind the wall. But yeah, that's about it. That's like the best that you can do here with these extra Lings. So I guess, you know, you can try to reduce it. Now it's a fire bat, so that's Gypsy saying, yeah, go ahead, do that. I'll wreck those Zerglings. Hawk, in the meantime, is getting his Spire. Over halfway done right now. Going up to 4 barracks play here for Gypsy. In fact, 5 barracks play. Obviously, this is not something that can really be scouted by Hawk right now. But it wouldn't be like overly surprising. Gypsy does like 4 racks +1 and 5 racks +1 plays. But, you know, that will slow down things like your factory, right? So science vessels, things like that, going to take a lot longer to get out. So, you know, maybe there's a world in which Hawk can kind of keep him back for a moment, get his lurkers up, and get his 3rd base, because he definitely needs all of that. Right now, everything has been very slow. He's actually got good 2-base economy at this point, right? Saturated main and then 7 at the natural. That's, you know, that's kind of what you're looking at to have a regular economy as Zerg. So he has gotten into that, but again, look, we're over 7 minutes into the game, and we don't even have the Mutalisks out yet. So he really hasn't been able to really put pressure on Gypsy this game. Some missile turrets have gone up. Hawk's starting to mass up his Mutalisks. The problem is going to be trying to hold on to this 3rd base, because Gypsy's going to start walking out with a lot of units very shortly here. Like, this is just a very small poke out right now. And in fact, it looks like his range upgrade is in fact already done. So that's pretty big. It makes it a lot harder for the Mutas to harass, to dog this group of units and kill them off. See what Hawk can get done. He's only got 5. This is not... it's like you can kill Marines with this, but that's about it. It's going to be interesting. Like, he might not read into exactly how many racks there are. I think he's going to realize relatively soon when he starts seeing the increased numbers of Marine and Medic coming out. But if he stays on, like, pure Mutaling, that's going to be very, very bad news for him. That's like exactly what you're looking like for from Gypsy's point of view, right? Like that, and you're kind of checking to see if there is a switch into lurkers, and as soon as that switch comes, you just make a beeline across the map. You can see already picking off a Muta there. The Muta's doing some reasonably good micro. Gypsy pushing everything back. Full group of Mutas here, more Mutas being made, at least a few more. And we still don't see any other tech. There is the Hydralisk Den at that 3rd base, so he's making it a little bit harder to scout. But can he get all the way into lurkers being ready and burrowed at the correct locations? That is what we're looking for right now. This is a huge amount of bio coming out, guys. This is not looking super hot here for Hawk. He has, you know, he's whittling it down a little bit. I think part of the problem, though, is that Gypsy is teching behind this. He's still making more units. Well, it is very slow tech. He's got his factory done, though. Still pumping out more Marines and medics. And it's just so many. This is really hard to deal with. You know, there are like 18 Mutalisks right now, plus some Zerglings. Ooh, loses 2. It's a big dent into what he has. Fireback coming down and really wasting a lot of those Lings. And this is going to be basically game. I think we're going to see Hawk GG from here. Yeah, there's nothing to do other than GG. And there you have it. Gypsy going to take down game number 1.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
SCP good to go, sir.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
SCP good to go, sir.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
SCP good to go, sir. Roger that. SCP good to go, sir.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
SCP good to go, sir. Roger that. SCP good to go,
Additional
sir.
supply depots required.
Job finished. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Roger that.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
SCP good to go, sir. I read you. Orders received. Orders received. SCP good to go, sir. Orders received. Reporting for duty. I read you. Reporting for duty. Orders, Captain.
Your forces are
I
under
read you.
attack.
Right away, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Right away, sir. I read you. Yes, sir. Job finished. Reporting for duty. Yes, sir. Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty. Roger that. Orders received. Orders received. Reporting for duty. You want a piece of me, boy? Rock and roll. Job finished. SCP good to go, sir. Reporting for duty. Checked up and good to go. Yes, sir. Reporting for duty. Affirmative. Roger that. Right away, sir. Standing by. Orders, Captain. You want a piece of
Not
me,
enough
boy?
minerals.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Orders received.
Not enough
Reporting for
minerals.
duty. I read you. Reporting for duty. I read you. SCP good to go, sir. Commander. Reporting for duty. Roger that. Orders, Captain. Orders, Captain. Roger that. I read you. Right away, sir. Me, boy. Yes, sir.
Your forces are
Right away,
under
sir.
attack.
Orders, Captain. Roger that. Orders received. I can't report for duty. Roger that. Right away, sir. Reporting for duty. Orders received. Yes, sir. I read you. I read you. Jacked up and good to go. Jacked up and good to go. Go, go, go. SCP good to go, sir. I read you. Job's finished. Standing by. Rock and roll. Outstanding. Go, go, go. SCP good to go,
Additional
sir.
supply depots required. Forces are under attack.
You want a piece of me, boy? Right away, sir. Roger that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Job's finished. Orders, Captain. Orders received. I read you. Orders, Captain. I read you. I read you. way, sir. Reporting for duty.
Your
Orders,
forces
Captain.
are under attack.
Affirmative. Roger that. Affirmative. Roger that. Job's finished. I read you. Orders received. Affirmative. Yes, sir. SCP good to go, sir. I read you.
Your forces are under attack.
Reporting for
Not
duty.
enough additional supply depots required.
Outstanding.
Additional supply depots required.
Standing by. Commander. Go, go,
Job's
go.
finished. Yes, sir.
Jacked up and good to go. Give me something to shoot, Commander. Give me something to shoot. Go, go, go.
I read you. Orders received.
Prepped and ready.
I can't feel. I read you. Reporting for duty. Orders, Captain.
Need medical attention? On my way.
Add-on complete.
Standing by.
Where does it hurt? Stat. On my
Orders,
way.
Captain. Affirmative.
You want a
Orders,
piece of me,
Captain.
boy?
State the
Outstanding.
nature of your medical
Yes, sir.
emergency.
Jacked up and good to go.
Did someone page
SCP good
me?
to go, sir.
Research complete.
Orders, Captain.
Give me something to shoot.
State the nature of your medical
Reporting for
emergency.
duty.
Piece of me, boy.
Right away, sir.
State the nature of your medical emergency.
Standing by. Rock and
SCP
roll.
good to go, sir.
State the nature of your medical emergency.
Commander. Give me something to shoot. Rock and roll.
Did
Outstanding.
someone page me?
Standing by.
Orders, Captain. Reporting for duty. Yes,
Your
sir.
forces are under attack.
Orders
Not
received.
enough minerals.
Outstanding. Standing by.
SCP good to go, sir.
Standing by. Let's move. Outstanding. Jacked up and good to go. Standing by. Go, go, go. You want a piece of me, boy? Standing
SCP good to
by.
go, sir. Orders received. Job finished.
Not
Give me
enough
something to
minerals.
State the nature of your
Jacked
medical
up and good to
emergency.
go.
Need medical attention?
Yes, sir. Orders, Captain.
You want a piece of me, boy?
Orders
Commander.
received.
Give me
Where does
something
it
to shoot.
hurt? Need medical attention?
Upgrade complete.
Reporting for duty.
Need medical
Job
attention?
finished. Reporting for duty.
Jacked up and good to go. Outstanding. Let's move.
On my way.
Standing by. Let's move. Standing by. Give me something to shoot. Commander. Go, go, go.
State the
Go,
nature
go,
of your
go.
medical
Rock
emergency.
and roll.
I read you.
Not enough
Jacked up and
minerals.
good to go.
State the nature of your
Go, go,
medical
go.
emergency. I'm on the job.
Affirmative.
You want a piece of
Orders,
me,
Captain.
boy?
Yes, sir.
Jacked up and good to go.
Need medical attention? Where does it hurt?
Reporting for
Not enough
duty.
minerals.
Commander.
State the nature of your medical
Jacked up
emergency.
and good
Did
to
someone
go.
page me?
Let's
Did
move.
someone page me?
Commander. Give me something to shoot.
Did someone page me?
Additional supply depots required.
Still there. Orders, Captain.
Your forces are under attack. Additional supply depots required.
On my way.
Commander. You want a piece of me, boy?
State the nature of your medical emergency.
Yes, sir.
Give me something to shoot.
State the nature of your medical
Jacked up
emergency.
and good to go.
State the nature of your medical emergency.
Reporting for duty. Still there. Affirmative.
Commander. Outstanding. Give me something to shoot.
Where does it hurt?
Go, go, go.
Where does it hurt?
Jacked up and
State
good
the
to go.
nature of your medical
Give me
emergency.
something to shoot. Let's move.
Did someone page me?
I read you.
Want a piece of me, boy?
SCP good to go,
Give me
sir.
something to
Did
shoot.
someone page me?
Jacked up and good to go.
Where does it hurt?
Jacked up and good to go.
Need medical attention? Where does it hurt?
Job finished. Orders, Captain. I read you.
Jacked up and good to
Where
go.
does it hurt? Need
Give
medical
me something
attention?
to shoot.
Where does it hurt? Did
Your
someone page
forces
me?
are under attack.
Commander, let's move. Rock and roll.
Where does it hurt?
You
Orders,
want a
Captain.
piece of me,
Yes,
boy?
sir.
Not enough minerals. Not
Jacked
enough
up and good
minerals.
to go.
Need medical attention?
Give me something to
Did
shoot.
someone page me?
SCP good to go, sir. Roger that.
Give me something to shoot.
Where does it
SCP good
hurt?
to go, sir.
Let's move.
Job
Outstanding.
finished.
Where does it hurt?
Go, go,
On my
go.
way.
Standing by. Go, go, go.
Did someone page me?
Standing by.
State the nature of your medical emergency.
Rock and
Need medical
roll.
attention?
Jacked up and good to go.
SCP good to go,
Let's
sir.
move. Go, go, go. Jacked up and good to go. Let's move.
Job
Rock
finished.
and roll now. Go, go, go.
Job finished.
Your forces are under attack.
Orders, Captain.
page me?
Jacked up and good to go.
Upgrade complete. Forces are under
Give me
attack.
something to shoot.
Identify target. Yes, sir.
Piece of me,
State the nature
boy.
of your medical emergency.
Outstanding.
Where does it hurt?
Piece of me, boy.
Orders, Captain. Roger that. Right away, sir. I read you.
Not enough minerals.
Want a piece of me,
Orders,
boy?
sir.
Let's move.
Did someone page me?
Your forces are under attack.
Explorer
Research complete.
Medical attention?
Transmit orders.
Where does it hurt?
Go, go, go.
State the nature of your medical emergency.
Greetings, Command.
I read you. I can't build there.
Did someone page me?
Good to go.
Yes, sir.
Jacked up and good to go.
State the nature of your medical emergency.
Give me
Not enough
something to shoot.
minerals.
Standing by. Transmit orders. Go, go,
State the
go.
nature of your medical
Research
emergency.
complete.
Piece of me,
Where does
boy.
it hurt?
Affirmative, give me something to
State
shoot.
the nature of your medical emergency.
Transmit orders. Commander.
Need medical attention?
Affirmative, sir.
Did someone page me?
Commencing. You want a piece
Did
of me,
someone
boy?
page me?
Orders, sir. Move.
Did someone page me? Need medical attention?
Affirmative, sir.
Orders, sir.
Transmit
State the nature of your medical emergency.
Go, go, go.
Where does it hurt?
We have you on visual. Let's roll.
Job finished.
Greetings.
Orders, sir.
Jacked up and transmit orders.
State the
Commander.
nature of your
Affirmative,
medical
sir.
emergency.
Standing by.
Did someone page me?
Commander.
On my way.
Orders, sir.
Transmit orders. Need a piece of me, boy.
Where does it
Transmit
hurt?
orders. Rock and roll.
Need medical attention?
Destination.
Good to go.
Destination. Latitude, sir.
Receiving
Add-on
headquarters.
complete.
Commander.
I read you.
You want a piece of me, boy? Affirmative, sir. We have you on visual. Outstanding. Bring it on. Something to shoot. We have you on visual. Good to go. Go, go, go. Let's move. Let's roll. Visualize.
Research
Good to
complete.
go. Want to turn up the heat.
Need medical attention?
Standing by.
Yeah.
Jacked up and good to go.
Need
Your
medical
forces are under attack.
Boy. Let's roll.
Where does it hurt? Prepped and ready.
Go, go, go.
Yes, sir.
Jacked up and good to go. Rock and roll.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Piece of me, boy. Greetings, Command. Explorer reporting. Piece of me, boy.
Destination. Latitude, sir.
Turn up the heat, Commander.
Where does
Have
it
you
hurt?
on visual? Receiving headquarters.
Report for
Need a
duty.
piece of me, boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Give me some
Where does it
receiving
hurt?
headquarters.
Orders, Captain.
sir. Fired up. Sir, Explorer reporting. You want a piece of me, boy? Transmit orders. Piece of me,
Additional supply depots required.
Greetings, Command. Excellent.
Prepped and ready.
Some of the receiving headquarters.
Need medical attention? On my way.
Transmit orders.
State the nature of your medical emergency.
Additional supply depots required.
Receiving headquarters.
Orders, sir.
Got my
Medical attention?
Affirmative, sir.
Upgrade complete.
Receiving headquarters. Neutralized.
Orders, Captain.
We have you on visual. Fired up. Commander.
Right away.
Receiving headquarters. Affirmative, sir. You want a piece of transmit orders. Let's roll a piece of me, boy. You want a piece of me on visual. Greetings, Command. Fired up.
Destination.
Transmit orders. We have you on visual. Excellent. Piece of me, boy. We have you on visual.
Destination. Orders, sir. Moving.
Where does it
Receiving
hurt?
headquarters.
Insufficient phosphate
Report for
gas.
duty.
Yes.
Report for duty. Job finished. I read you.
Your forces are under attack.
You got my attention.
On my way.
Destination.
Piece of me, boy. Yes.
are under attack.
We have you on visual, jacked up and good to go. Want to turn up the heat? Naturally. Fire it up.
Did someone page me?
Orders, Captain.
Your forces are under attack.
I'm on the job.
Want to turn up the heat?
The nature of your medical emergency.
Standing by. Got my attention. Want to turn up the heat?
Destination.
You want a piece of me, boy? You want a piece of me, boy?
SCV good to go, sir.
Slammer. Want to turn up the heat? Yes. Commencing.
Your forces are under attack.
I read you. Affirmative. Reporting. Yes, sir.
Not enough minerals.
I read you.
You want a piece of me, boy? Naturally.
Nature of your medical emergency.
You want a piece of me, boy? You got it. Let's
Did
turn
someone
up
page me?
All right. Bring it on. Piece of me, boy. Slam it. Fire it up. We have you on visual. Piece of me, boy.
Something on your mind?
Yeah, piece of me, boy.
Job's finished. Job's finished.
Explorer
Enough
reporting.
minerals. Your forces are under attack.
You got my attention.
Did someone page me?
Got my attention.
Orders, Captain.
Captain,
Transmit piece of me, boy.
Your forces are under attack.
Greeting, boy. Let's roll. You got my attention. Piece of me, boy. Greeting, command. Transmit order. Piece of me, boy.
Your forces are under attack.
Receiving these orders. Commencing.
did someone page me?
Affirmative, sir.
Not enough energy.
Piece of me,
Not
boy.
enough energy.
You want a piece of me, boy? Let's move. Let's roll. Yeah? You want a piece of me, boy? You
Your
got my
forces are
attention.
under attack.
Greetings,
Not enough energy.
Transmit piece of me, boy. Affirmative, sir.
Not enough energy.
Let's roll. Piece of me, boy. Commencing.
Base is under attack.
Want to turn up the heat? We have you on visual. Greetings, command. Excellent.
Not enough energy. Your forces are under attack.
Command. Let's roll.
State the nature of your medical
Receiving
emergency.
headquarters.
Did someone page me?
Receiving headquarters.
Your forces are under attack.
The heat. You got my attention.
Need medical
Here's
attention?
someone to shoot. You got my attention. Fire it up.
State the nature of your medical emergency.
Not enough energy.
Did someone page me?
Fire it up.
Orders, Captain. I can't build there. I read you.
You got my
Your forces
attention.
are under
We
attack.
have you on visual.
Need medical attention?
Receiving headquarters.
Orders, Captain. Affirmative.
You want a piece of me, boy?
Not enough minerals.
SCV good to go, sir.
Your forces are under attack.
We have you on visual. Greetings,
Not enough energy.
transmit orders.
SCV good to go, sir.
Need medical attention?
Job's finished.
Here's someone to shoot.
State the nature of your medical emergency.
What do you want? Explorer reporting. Oh, is that it?
Your forces are under attack.
No problem.
SCV good to go, sir.
Oh, is that it? You want a piece of me, boy?
Did someone page me?
Transmit orders. Orders, sir.
Your forces are under attack.
Commander, jacked up. Yes.
Orders, Captain.
You want a piece of me, boy?
Reporting for duty.
What do you want?
Orders, Captain.
Give me
Your
some of
forces
this.
are under attack. Upgrade complete.
Receiving.
No, it's not. Literally nothing's over the minimap. Oh, when I played... Okay, hey guys, what's up? I just played my match against Crossy and I won, but I guess part of it was over the minimap. I had this set up for observing and I forgot that I was playing, and I need a different setup for that because it's a different looking screen. Sorry about that. Won't happen next time. I understand what went wrong. Anyways, we are going into our next match here. Right now, my team is winning 2-0 because of our Terran gods. The big Gyp and myself. Looking at this match, we have in the top left, KAIDO. Very strong Korean-American Zerg player. In the bottom right, we got Jaeyoon. You know, a very, very strong Protoss. Maybe the best Protoss in North America. Maybe BoA's best Protoss in North America, actually, in my opinion. Jaeyoon maybe second, or Dragon second. But yeah, they put them in the top 3. Anyways, yeah, going forward here, we'll see if Jaeyoon can pick up a victory for his team here over KAIDO. I think it should be a pretty close match overall. Maybe I favor Jaeyoon just slightly over KAIDO. But honestly, I don't watch a lot of KAIDO's Zerg vs. Protoss. I've seen a fair amount of Jaeyoon's Protoss vs. Zerg, and it seems pretty good to me. Yeah, but what do I know? So, yeah, Jaeyoon just scouting quickly. He's going to find that this is, in fact, a pool first build. Looks like it's an overpool there. And, you know, that's going to allow him to know that he needs the Forge before the Nexus here. Yeah, I'm quite sure of that. So we should be seeing that here. You can have a delayed Forge, though. Nice build order coming out of Jaeyoon here, trying to get everything as late as he possibly can. Going to go ahead and just mine minerals from here. Why not? And then, of course, you know, I think you end up making 1 cannon. Normally, when it's an overpool like this, you'll make just 2 lings. Because they have to go cannon first, basically no matter what. Or Forge first, sorry, rather. And they have to make a cannon no matter what. So, like, you don't need to overmake lings because then they'll just stop it. But yeah, there's a drone. This is going to be that one there, lings, and this should be a drone. Yep. So KAIDO's made exactly 2 lings, but again, you need that cannon still. So, you know, he's slowed down Jaeyoon as much as he really can. KAIDO taking his 3rd base location with his first hatchery here. Going to be feeling fine about this opener, I think, on both sides. You know, this is a pretty standard build versus another pretty standard build here. So, yeah, the probe just going to continue scouting around for Jaeyoon. Gateway on the way. Overlord taking a couple shots there from the cannon. Maybe a little bit sloppy taking those shots. Or maybe wanted to see the exact Nexus health, something like that. Try to gauge where he's at. That's a possibility. Wasn't really paying attention to that Overlord there, but sometimes that can be helpful if you're not exactly sure how things are going. Take a shot to just check on things, make sure everything's as you feel it should be. So the 3 bases going up for KAIDO, and let's see what he does with this gas, right? Because right now, there's not really a probe in his main, only 1 ling on the ramp right now. So there is the possibility of something like a Hydra bust, but instead KAIDO going to go ahead for that layer. Jaeyoon does not know yet. I think he will try to dart up there and check because he knows that, like, okay, by now you should probably have a layer or a Hydraless Den, right? You should either be going for 3-hatch Hydra or you should be going for, well, I mean, I guess possibly a Speed Zergling all in, but more likely a layer here. So we'll see when he darts around with this probe. It's going to eventually try to make its way up. KAIDO able to play very greedily here against the Forge Fast expansion, of course. He's only been on 2 lings for a very long time, so heavy drone production coming out. But that first sellout is coming across the map now, so we're going to absolutely have to see some additional lings made. And this should also draw the lings to the side, which should allow Jaeyoon to go up and confirm a layer. Right? Putting all these pieces together, you should be able to get a good, solid scout now. Quite a few lings, actually, kind of zoning him out. And in fact, he did pull back that Zealot, so not wanting to really risk the Zealot. But still, not a lot of information. Like, there could be Hydras, you know, kind of on the way. You wouldn't have them quite yet, right? Like, you'd be upgrading your speed upgrade, and they'd be coming relatively soon. You see the Stargate is coming up. You know, a lot of times, basically, if they're going 3-hatch Hydra, the Stargate, the Corsair coming out, will see Hydras, like, about here, generally, if everything's on time for both players, which sometimes gives you enough time, sometimes does not. Now, the Ling production, cooling off a little bit here. Has that speed upgrade. Going to go ahead, surround this. Ooh, a little bit of a misclick there, it seems. Felt like he could have gotten that a little bit better. And now, finally, we do have the scout up from Jaeyoon with this very injured probe, seeing the Spire But is it going to be actual Mutalisk production is the question. And that's something that, you know, Zerg players are very, very good at hiding. You know, once upon a time, like, you'd get the second gas really quickly when you were going Mutas, because guess what? Mutas cost a lot of gas. Nowadays, you won't. You'll go for the Force Scourge, you'll push back the Corsairs, and then you'll decide, or then you'll start producing Mutas, because the Protoss simply can't get any scouting at that point. So it's more about hiding the tech rather than getting it out as quickly and as powerfully as possible. The fact that your opponent doesn't know, that's as powerfully as you can get it out. So Jaeyoon gets one Overlord there. Nice tight defense here against those Speedlings. Second Corsair coming up. And of course, we don't know yet. Even as the observers, I'm not entirely sure what we're going to end up seeing. Obviously, some Scourge are being made right now, and Jaeyoon's going to be very, very wary of that. Saw this extra macro hatchery as well. We're going up to 5 hatch play, 6 hatch play here from KAIDO. So some heavy macroing going on. We have a single photon cannon here. Now, this photon cannon, I don't believe reaches to there. So you do have to be a little bit wary of that. Notice how he's placing the Corsairs kind of in between. So the cannon blocks or shields the Corsairs from incoming Scourge. And the Corsairs shield this pixel, right? So this area right there, that's where Corsairs pop. So if your opponent does bring Scourge down with Mutas and puts the Scourge on top of there, it'll kill the Corsair as it comes out. But yeah, so maybe not perfect building placement here from Jaeyoon, but he was doing something to hedge against that, and I don't think that's something we're going to end up seeing anyways. Either way, KAIDO is making some Mutalisks, and as you can see, it is really quite late compared to when he could have had them. And it looks like we're going to have 5, which is pretty standard. 5 will one-shot a probe. So very likely what we'll see is the Scourge zoning out the Corsairs and then some harassment from the Mutalisks. But honestly, this is not very many Scourge. So it doesn't feel like he can actually push the Corsairs back as much as you might need. A little bit of harassment on those Zealots with 5 Mutas. Corsairs coming up to push it out. KAIDO retreating. Not really finding anything with the Mutas, but that's not necessarily the end of the world. You know, you've made 5 Mutas, 4 Scourge. Well, a little bit more now, up to 8 Scourge. But you can just go into Hydralisk from here, right? Like, the Mutas just being out have forced your opponent to play pretty defensively, has basically forced more Corsairs out, right? He was on 5, now he's on 7, and might even end up seeing more than that. And in fact, ooh, that's a little bit painful. KAIDO does turn on Jaeyoon as he tries to moving shot and chase down these Mutas. He deals a lot of damage to them, as you can see, getting very, very low there. But the Scourge will force those Corsairs back. Little group of Speedlots out on the map now. They have their +1, ready to just mangle Zerglings, but Hydras with speed coming out into the map. Let's take a look here. The 6 hatch production really going on. And we might see him try to bust here. I think Jaeyoon is just about to have Storm, though. Ooh, really dominates against those Mutas. Single DT coming out. Ooh, no vision either. So that's going to force KAIDO back. Definitely going to need that Overlord speed. And, you know, not just the Overlord speed. You're going to have to be really careful with those as well, because there's a lot of Corsairs with +1 attack here still left. Jaeyoon almost getting trapped here. So close to getting trapped. KAIDO can't quite close off the Zealots, so they will get out of there. A little bit of hull damage on a couple of them as they all group up and retreat. Feels like it could be a good time here for Jaeyoon to maybe think about taking that 3rd base location, right? You know, you can take your 3rd over here, a little group of units. Like, if you just right-click or not right-click, but send the probe to make the Nexus, these will actually kill it before you cancel it most of the time. So that's kind of like a cute setup of these sitting here. And, you know, if you try to go out this way with, like, a shuttle with a Dark Templar in it or something, that could be very, very powerful as well. Another cannon going up here for Jaeyoon. Range for his Dragoons coming up. Does have the Robo. getting up into that 8th gateway. 8 gates, of course, being the number that you can really support if you're spending correctly off of 2 base. 1-1 done here for Jaeyoon. Nope. Oh, yeah. He just started his +2 armor, most likely. Very, very trendy to just go armor upgrades after the initial +1 attack. Move some of the Hydras back here as well. Almost scouting Hydras at this point. So a bit of a containment going on. KAIDO taking his 4th base. And, well, yeah, I mean, this little group, I feel like this group was mostly just left over for scouting. A little bit sloppy to let that go, but he will end up losing those 5 or so Hydras. More Hydras coming across the map. You know, definitely something you got to mention about this map. Containment can be very, very strong. Now, the Corsair is getting insane damage on those Mutas. The Muta Flock was remade for picking off High Templars. Now, the High Templars have mostly sat back for Jaeyoon, hiding near his cannons and everything. Mostly just Zealots have taken the front. But the Corsairs did quite a number on those Mutas, so I'm not sure how many High Templars he's actually going to be able to pick off. And if that ends up being like 0, that's going to be really good, because look at how many Mutas he's made so far, and they haven't really done anything this game. So Jaeyoon's starting his 3rd base. KAIDO does have his 4th base up as Jaeyoon is starting his 3rd. So that feels pretty good for KAIDO. Still on layer tech. Still upgrading, no doubt. Can't really push across these bridges, right? In either direction. You know, I love seeing macro games on this map. Not playing them, mind you. But I love seeing them because it is so awkward to try to do anything in this area, right? You see KAIDO right now spreading out his lurkers, spreading out his Hydras. You know, got to be feeling pretty good about this containment. So Jaeyoon's choice is, well, do I try to break out? No, you can't do that. Do we go up here and maybe secure a 4th? Maybe. That could be one. The only other way is to actually mine this out or kill this and go out the back. And this is a single ramped base right now. Right, the older version of this was a little bit different, but yeah, that is something he could end up doing. But right now, Jaeyoon deciding, go up the right-hand side. He is going to be able to kill off the rest of the Mutas. He is going to lose all of his Corsairs, it looks like. A lot of Hydras coming up, but mostly to their own detriment, as Jaeyoon is going to push those back. Now, that being said, and seeing KAIDO get pushed back pretty heavily, we do have to mention that the supply is slightly KAIDO favored, which whenever you see that for Zerg, if they have the same supply or higher, a lot of the time they're winning the game, as their units are more supply efficient. But Jaeyoon hasn't really been spending his storms yet, so he comes out, starts throwing down some Psy storms. You know, he's got a lot of storms here. He's got like 6 storms waiting, as well as 1-1 upgrades. Good amount of Dragoons. Has that Observer still alive. Throwing down some storms, trying to get rid of these. You know, when you're spending a storm to just damage a lurker, though, makes me nervous, because there are a lot of Hydras that are still going to be coming up. All right, so more storms going down. Yeah, these lurkers taking some serious damage. Looks like it'll fall, and, well, KAIDO might have just enough with his next rally coming up. You know, as you drop down to just pure Dragoon, there is not a whole lot that your opponent's army can really do, right? Like, I mean, when you, or sorry, that was backwards of what I meant to say there. When you fall down to just Dragoons, like, there is more of a support unit in the matchup. So, you know, it's incredibly hard to win any battles. Like, you need Zealots for tanking and dealing some damage, or you need Psy Storms with them. But when you're getting down to basically just Dragoons, like, everything Zerg has kind of beats just Dragoons. Maybe not the drone, but just barely so. So a little bit tough there for Jaeyoon, but look, he did end up killing off a lot. You can see he's taken that supply advantage once again. And let's take a look at the actual state of the game right now. We've got an additional gas for Jaeyoon. So now he's on 3 gas. Would like to see 1 more probe on here. This is not completely efficient mining. So he's got 3 gases. He's got a growing amount of High Templars. Still has Dragoons being made. 2-1 upgrades with attack. Actually, I did not expect that, but that's kind of cool to see. You don't see that often nowadays. It's very, again, trendy to see the +2 armor. Now, KAIDO over here Okay, he just finished his hive. That's actually what I was kind of coming over to look for, because is he going to continue to tech, or are we just going to see him on layer? If you're just going to be on, like, Lurker Hydra, for instance, it's like, okay, well, you can kind of do that. But as Jaeyoon's technicality of his army grows, as he has so many High Templars as you see, he's going to start to demolish things like Pure Hydra, right? So now that KAIDO has that, he can get into the Crackling upgrades. You know, he can get into Defiler tech. That's huge. You know, Guardians are kind of out there, but occasionally you can see him used in late game as EVP. You know, Queens not so much, maybe in very weird low econ games. But yeah, KAIDO is going to have the ability to maybe go into more of a Ling Lurker Defiler type of play. Now, it looks like Jaeyoon maybe was getting a little bit cheeky trying to get a base set up down here. Looks like his Zealots should be able to hold on to here just for now. And some pretty bad pathing going on. These bases are very hard to path out of. As you can see, it's like single file Dragoons trying to come out. It is tough, but he's taking this high ground. And if Jaeyoon plays a patient game, like once you secure this base, this can't really be killed. It's pretty damn hard to kill with Psystorm on the high ground, plus cannons, plus whatever else. And then it's also really hard to get over these bridges. You know, maybe if he brings too much of his army somewhere else, you can just pop over the bridges real quick. Looks like that might be KAIDO's idea here. In fact, pushing over one of these 3 bridges right now. And not a lot of units for Jaeyoon. He's going to have to bring quite a few back down. Some storms going down. And yeah, it seems like he should be able to clear that out pretty easily, right? So not the best attack there from KAIDO. But KAIDO taking another base right now in this top right. Bottom left going to be the only base on the map not taken. And honestly, we could see either player try to take. I think it's hard for Jaeyoon to take, especially after Defilers come out. He's like, that doesn't seem realistic to me. So we might see KAIDO end up taking it. But 4 base versus 6, like you can still kind of grind there a little bit with all the splash damage that Protoss can get. Now, let's see. Defiler Mound is coming up. Looks like that's probably all the additional tech. Obviously, he's getting the Adrenal upgrade. I'm not sure how many Evolution Chambers. Let's actually try to check on that. 1 Evo, 2 Evo. Okay, he should be getting melee upgrades. That's the main thing I want to point out here, right? Like, you could get +3 range attack, but honestly, I think melee and carapace upgrades right now are going to be at a bit of a premium, especially those melee upgrades for the Zerglings. Now, Jaeyoon has positioned a lot of army over this bridge. Not a lot up here. This makes me a little bit nervous. He's got, like, maybe 4 storms, but, you know, you send enough units up here, Jaeyoon is going to have to send another chunk of his army. I want to check now, see, do we have any Reaver tech as of yet? Looks like the answer to that's going to be a strong no. That is kind of the end game of Protoss tech, generally speaking, is to get Reavers out to help against incoming Darkstorms. Now, we haven't seen the Defilers yet, right? We saw the Defiler Mound making, but we haven't actually seen the Defilers. So we don't necessarily need the Reavers right this second, but just something to mention, something to keep in mind, that it definitely could turn into a game like that. And, you know, I think Jaeyoon has something special for him going in Protoss vs. Zerg, is that he used to be, like, the top Zerg player in North America. And because of that, like, I feel like he understands this matchup very, very well, right? Switching over to Protoss, like, he kind of knows both sides. And so I think it's relatively likely that we'll see some Reavers from him if we get into that position. Because some Protoss players just won't make those Reavers in the late game. They'll just try to roam. They'll try to end it. And oftentimes that won't really work against very turtled Zerg players. Now, Defilers are done. Consume is ready. Darkstorm going to help him to push over the ramp. This is very Dragoon heavy. So a little bit hard to make the defense if there is the Darkstorm down. The Dragoons become much less useful. He does get into that +3 attack, by the way. The space still just totally fine. No attacks going up that ramp from KAIDO. Both sides maxing out as well. A bit more of a bank here from our Protoss player. It's kind of good to see as being a little bit more cost efficient because there's a lot bigger economy for KAIDO, and that's kind of the scary thing. KAIDO has taken this bottom left base, by the way. That is definitely something that Jaeyoon could try attacking, but also, I mean, counterattacks could occur there as well from Zerg. A little bit hard to pull off. looks like we're going to have the Defiler push coming up. Might get a Plague. Yeah, beautiful Plague there on a bunch of those Dragoons. Jaeyoon doing a good job, though. Like, he has so many High Templars. He has so many Storms at his disposal. But, of course, Plague is permanent damage on Protoss. You cannot heal the actual Protoss units. Only the shields can regain any health. So it is a real big problem. When you start plaguing these units, they are so easy to kill off, as Plasma Shields take full damage from absolutely everything. Also, their upgrade costs more than the other upgrades. So it's like, it's just not generally as good to get the Plasma Shield upgrades. And in fact, like, look at these units, right? Like 80 versus 100. So it's already just better to get armor upgrades because you have more health that applies to. So yeah, that definitely, Protoss upgrades scale worse than the Terran or Zerg upgrades into the late game. And that is a big part of why right there. Now KAIDO continuing this very strong setup in the center. Just trying to like keep a containment going. Spreading out more and more lurkers. Good Psy Storms going down. The Dragoons dealing their damage, you know, just kind of finishing off these stormed off Hydras. And Jaeyoon with just so many storms here, man. Doing very well cost efficiency wise. But as the cracklings start to come up, it is a little bit dangerous. He has got up to that +2 armor. By the way, I do want to check up here. Yeah, that is incredibly hard to break through. And over here, yeah, very, very hard as well. Not quite as good as the top right, but bottom left, very turtle also. KAIDO doing a great job of just making everything very hard on Jaeyoon. Like, if Jaeyoon's going to win this game, he's got to put a lot of effort into that. So in comes a little bit of an attack. Kind of a funny rotation. It looks like this army from Jaeyoon is rotating down to meet his army rallying over the bridges. So he wants to make a path so his units can come directly out as opposed to around and down. And he does actually break out of that area, misses killing a couple lurkers here, and Reavers are starting to crawl out onto the map as well, but taking a lot of damage. This is unfortunate. One lurker might end up killing both a High Templar and a Reaver. That is super, super painful. But Jaeyoon starts to take the mid. Now, he's kind of got control of the mid. I don't want to see him go across this ramp. This is making me really nervous for him, but maybe he's got that killer instinct that I, as a Terran player, don't really possess for this matchup. Goes in. I mean, hey, maybe he can pop some Overlords. Looks like they're mostly going to start getting away. But he's getting on top of this, on top of the rally points, which can be a big problem for Zerg. You know, if all their units are rallying into your army, that can be very, very tough to deal with. This Reaver going across the entire map without making a single scarab the entire way. Pretty awesome. But, yeah, he's doing a very good job here. It's a small army, but it's a very teched out, strong army. Those +3 attack Archons, some Dragoons, a lot of Psy Storms. We'll see if he ever does make any Scarabs there. But KAIDO, he's going to have to rally everything in and kill this. Like, he cannot allow this to eliminate 3 of his macro hatcheries. It would be incredibly painful to end up dealing with. He is still turtled in a lot of positions very strongly. But I think if Jaeyoon kills this area and holds this area, that's the first in a line of dominoes to take KAIDO down here. KAIDO out of a lot of these minerals, by the way. It does look like he's going to end up losing this location, and with it, a couple of his evolution chambers. We have +2 Carapace, we have +2 melee, and we have +2 range. So he's very close to max upgrades anyways, so might not be the end of the world, considering there's already +3 here. Like, the additional Carapace isn't going to help Zerglings, at least, against Zealots. Well, no, actually it is. It's going to make him a lot stronger. So he does want to get that one still, but yeah. Still breaking through this army. Jaeyoon continuing to rally up. He is up a good amount of supply right now. Man, he is eliminating so many of these units as they flow out of KAIDO. Now, starting to redirect some of his workers to these other bases. Let's take a look. This base is not well defended at all. Okay, so that could be a problem. That could be the next base that gets killed off by Jaeyoon. This base is not well defended, but there's not as much value. It's like tech and macro up here, right? It's not actual economy. And it looks like, woo, getting pretty low on these Reavers. But is finally getting those Scarabs as well. And it seems like Jaeyoon's team is going to start battling back here, maybe picking up a map victory. There is still a chance here for KAIDO, though, right? Well, not too much, but he has a very well-saturated base here. Not well-saturated. Yeah, not that much, man. Like, if he had a bunch of lurkers at those bases still, that would give him some time to rebuild quite a bit, but he doesn't really have much of a standing army. Some various lings coming up across the map. See what they're able to get done. Doesn't look like it'll be very much here. And a lot of his tech is going to end up going down. Oh, my God. Look at this. Didn't end up mining out these minerals, so the drone's not going to make it. And, yeah, the Reaver finally getting his kills. 17 kills here. I think we're going to see a GG. You know, at this point, Jaeyoon, as long as he just groups his army together and attacks it with it together, it's not going to lose to anything. A very good, very back-and-forth game. It did feel in the beginning like Jaeyoon was doing a bit better, and then it felt like KAIDO really came back very strongly. And, you know, at the end of the day, did get broken by Jaeyoon. I think maybe the most important part of what Jaeyoon did was holding this area and then attacking to the south while using these units to attack to the north and breaking through, so he was no longer contained and could quickly rally out. Right? I think that was the very, very important moment here for Jaeyoon. Also, he was very patient, kind of built up his mana, built up his High Templar count, you know, had his 4 bases. Didn't really panic, despite his third, feeling maybe just a little bit late there against KAIDO. GG is called, and Jaeyoon gonna take it down. All right, guys. Here we go. We are in the 4th game here. As you can see, it is going to be Razz up here at 12 o'clock, and his opponent, our team captain, BoA here in the bottom left. Okay, PvP here on Apocalypse. We're going to see how this one goes down. I mean, BoA is pretty damn strong. He is stronger than Razz. Like, Razz is good. He's still kind of up and coming within the scene. He's gotten a lot better in the last couple of years. And he can put out a good game. I mean, there's a possibility of a victory, but I think BoA... Honestly, I would put BoA as... And I generally say this, like, I think he might be the 3rd strongest Protoss in the foreign scene, right? In the scene outside of Korea and China. I don't really consider China part of that scene, but yeah, I think that BoA is incredibly, incredibly strong. By the way, guys, yeah, we will do... I'll run the TTS right after this, okay? I promise. But right now, you know, for anyone watching and wondering what's going on here, this is the North American Pro League. This is a big effort by some guys in the North American scene. Jaeyoon is kind of leading the charge on that. To get something kind of regular that has a bit of prize money, people are practicing for, getting together, playing some competitive matches together. I find it to be like a great initiative and really important for the scene. You know, if we don't have people competing within the non-Korean scene, then the game will die, right? So I think it's really important. So yeah, at least for these casts, I am muting those donos, but I will play them afterwards, and we will be playing ladder after this as well. And I think this is going to be a quick one. My team is so much stronger than the other team. It's hilarious. So, yeah, we'll see if BoA is able to take this down. And, oh, I like the build from Razz. So I do like this build quite a bit. This is a build, actually, like, okay, so the way I found out about this build, which is it's 2-gate Zealot in your main base, and then you pressure with 3 Zealots while going into Dragoon. It's like a tricky PvP build. This didn't really exist way back in the day, but when Remaster came out, and we all started kind of learning about the game again, like, for instance, Tasteless and I were flying to a bunch of events to commentate and whatnot, Draco was at a lot of events, and he was showing us this build and telling us about it. And actually, this was funny, because it was the first time I heard of Boneth, because I wasn't up to date on the non-Korean scene at that point. But he had mentioned to me that he got the build from Boneth, and he thought it was really good. And he also mentioned, and Draco's one of the best non-Koreans of all time, he mentioned that he thought that Boneth was the real deal and very, very good, which I thought was kind of cool, because Boneth, of course, has won a ton of tournaments since then, and certainly shown that. So 3 Zealots coming out. Here's that 3 Zealot pressure, and here's that tech into Dragoons that I was talking about from Razz. So definitely a very cool build. We do have a Zealot out for BoA, which is very, very important here. And he's going to have to micro very well, right? So he has 1 Zealot, 1 Dragoon, and he's going to have a 2nd Dragoon out, but the Zealots will already be in his base. Now, this is an important thing. He gets up here to get more shots before it gets back, right? And he can even body block a little bit and make them think about what they're doing, right? It's like, do you try to target the Dragoon? Do you turn? Do you slow yourself down? So, right, before they get back, he's already done like 100 damage, which is pretty decent. Now, the Zealot's going to go right for that mineral line. Razz knows how to execute this. He's going for some probe kills. Of course, with his 2-gate Dragoon behind this, he's going to try to make as many Dragoons as possible. But let's see how many probes he actually ends up getting. It looks like it's going to be a lot here. Oh, man. Very, very painful. I'm not sure the exact number, but... Okay, so there's 8. And then -2 from that. So he has 12 probes left in his mineral line. Razz has... No, one of those doesn't count. Okay, so we got... Fuck. Come on. 10 plus... So it looks like he has about 4 or 5 more probes. I didn't get a perfect count there, but it looks like about 4 or 5 more probes for Razz. He is rallying out the Dragoons. Like, this is really important. He needs to get range, and he needs non-stop Dragoon production because you're giving 3 units to your opponent as well as later Dragoons to do this rush. So he walks forward, gets one good volley, actually misfires there, and he is going to get the kill. Wow. Wow. Damn. Look at this. The opposing team really fighting back. This was very good execution from Razz. And as I mentioned, it's a strong build. He knew exactly what to do with it, targeting down the probes, getting the Dragoons nonstop afterwards. You know, the fact that he was in a line and got that first volley is huge. Now he's going to get another free unit. Dude, he traded 3 Zealots for like a ton of probes, and now he just got a free Dragoon and a free Zealot. You have 4 Dragoons here in a Zealot. Are you afraid of this? No, of course you're not. But he doesn't. And now we're going to see him move forward. Ooh, I think we actually almost missed a shot there. But yeah, it looks like 2 more are going to pop out, so BoA's going to end up holding it. Oh, he's got to get that one shot finished, but he's going to lose the extra Dragoon to do so. Oh, God, he's just going to sack this goon. You know, he might have lost it anyways, but he's not even going to get hull damage on that, unfortunately. So what was that? Did he just lose 4 goons for 2, if I'm not mistaken? But again, I like the follow-up. He's, you know, Razz is taking a bunch of risks, but it's like appropriate. Right? Razz is, you know, going into 5-gate here, if he overwhelms BoA's army one time, I think he should win the game because he's going to have the Nexus. But BoA's going to have Reavers. So there is room here for BoA to outplay him. There is room here for BoA to just kind of to grind Razz down. You know, there's multiple possibilities. One is you micro your Reaver really, really well, and you just start to eliminate Dragoons. I don't know if that's going to be enough. Another would be like, okay, well, you expand and it's later, but maybe you get Reaver harassment done. Or maybe Razz feels like he needs to counterattack because, you know, eventually, what are you going to have, 50 Dragoons? They don't all fire at once, so they don't actually scale well against this. Right? There's a lot of different ways that BoA has to start recovering himself here. Now, a forward pylon. These are, of course, really great at defending. Just a pylon sitting there, and not because it gets overcharged like old StarCraft 2 games, but because Dragoons are kind of stupid and will shoot it a lot. It will end up sucking up hundreds of damage. And screwing up the AI of anything trying to attack you. Now, a little move forward. This was that was actually a really important moment right there, whether he's going to attack or not. He kills the probes you don't know, but also, like, let's say he was expanding. If he moves up, kills the probe, you have no idea. Like, right now, Razz is just setting up. See this? He's setting up the biggest, longest line he can possibly get because he's like, oh, shit, he might be attacking. Also, this is great positioning by Razz. Really, really like what I'm seeing. You know, if you set these up in a long line, basically it's all about getting everything to fire immediately. Whoever gets the first volley is like, look, if you get the first volley, there's more than enough Dragoons here to kill a Dragoon. So you just start with an advantage in the battle. So this is a great way to play it when you're on something silly like 5-gate. Still no other tech for Razz. This is crazy, man. BoA's going to push, though. BoA's going to push. He's going to have to be so careful. If he comes down, if he comes into here or into here, I think he's going to die. There's just so many Dragoons. All right, this should be double Reaver. Drops 2 out. Let's see what he gets for shots. Ooh. Looks like these Dragoons going to get up on top of absolutely everything. They kill the shuttle immediately, trying to target down all the Reavers right now. And he is going to have just more with 5-gate production against 2. No Nexus for BoA. Razz is going to take this game and tie it up. We're going to an ace match. We are going to an ace match. Absolutely crazy. After the dominating of the Terrans of this team, the other team coming back with its Protosses. I guess that's just the way of things, right? Rock, paper, scissors in StarCraft. BoA walking back. He's going to try to defend with the Reaver, with the Dragoons, with the Pylon. The Pylon is powerful. Don't forget I said that, okay? But Razz is probably going to be able to just walk in and target things down. He doesn't even need to target the Dragoon. Look, he's going to stand there. He's going to kill the Pylon. Then he'll walk forward and just target whatever is in range. And this is just going to be a victory. You can see his stuff is screwing up because of the Pylon. And those are some great Scarabs. Without a doubt, those are great Scarabs. It looks like he is getting that advantage. It's 4 goons against 1 right now. Another Reaver pops out. There's no shield battery back here. It is unfortunate. A Scarab is going to be made and pop 1. More Dragoons coming across the map as Razz takes yet another base. Finally making it a robo after his 6th gateway. Well, the Reaver is microing nicely, but yeah, BoA's going to GG. BoA is someone who doesn't give up easy, but that's going to be it. GG, we're going to the ace match. And here we are, guys. We are in the ace match from my team in the top left, or bottom left, rather, sorry. Trying to redeem himself, it is KAIDO. And from the other team in the top left, trying to win for his team, it's Jaeyoon. All right, so Jaeyoon was able to take down KAIDO. That was probably our best game of the night so far. Definitely a very excellent game. You know, it felt like KAIDO had most of the mid-game, had a decent lead, and then Jaeyoon was able to fight back. La Campanella, definitely a very different map. This is a map that has these kind of like hidden bases. They aren't hidden, but they're like hard to get to, right? It's another take on like the outsider idea of having bases around the edge that can be hard to get to. Now that being said, the middle is a little bit open. I guess it might be a little bit hard to see here because we have the fog of war and everything. But yeah, it's pretty wide open, and if you don't take one of those side bases, your third base would be somewhere like this. So it'll be interesting to see where these guys want to expand and in what order. Because it might be good for Jaeyoon, for instance, to take one of these bases quickly, to like really quickly have a third. I think that's going to be interesting to watch. Not sure what Jaeyoon's take on this map is going to be, honestly. I haven't seen too many Protoss for Zergs here. Now, Jaeyoon going for a Forge here, and it is a double scout. So what his plan is here is probably a cannon rush. So, for instance, when his probe comes down and finds this hatchery, he could put the probe here, make a pylon, pop over, make a pylon on this side, and make cannons here, right? And that could be very annoying to deal with. I haven't seen that yet, but like it seems reasonable to me. A lot of Terrans will rush one Marine out and pop it over with their SCV and just harass your drones. It's pretty stupid. But he actually goes directly into the main base with this probe, so maybe it's not going to be a cannon rush. But it was the double scout, which oftentimes results in that, so yeah. Seems to me like this is going to be just the Nexus, but unfortunately for him, KAIDO actually gets up and blocks. That's incredibly annoying. Oh, Jaeyoon pushes him back, though. Nice. And gets that Nexus. Lickety-split. Second probe coming. You know what he's going to do? This is so funny. Oh, my God. He's going to build a pylon still. There's still going to be a cannon rush. Not to kill the hatchery, I think. I think he's going to build it somewhere like here. We'll see. Like, maybe he goes up here. But he could build it, like, in an area where it just hits these, and to break it, you might need a sunken that's, like, blocking your own mineral patches. That's a possibility. That's a real possibility here. Let's see where he puts him. Back at home, he does have a gateway going up. Okay, there's the cannon. No cannon at home. No cannon at home. Kaido comes up and sees it. Should make the sunk. Yeah, that should be fine. That should reach. Jaeyoon may want to make a secondary cannon. Not to attack the sunken, but yeah, you want it just out of range of this sunken. You want to deny as much as you possibly can here. But I do wonder at what point this might not be the greatest move. It's kind of hard to get rid of, right? You need like Hydras to break this, basically. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was just... I thought Kaido put it exactly in range. Like, Sunkens, if I'm not mistaken, have a half range more than a cannon. So I think if he had it there, it hits the cannon. But right now, this is just kind of annoying. Like, I guess, yeah. The creep being out here makes it so nothing's ever going to hit the hatch, but he's also, you know, not able to mine. So back at home, Jaeyoon with the Cybernetics core. Everything is going to be slowed down a little bit. You know, you never have, like, super full drone saturation. Like, normally, I mean, that's not the right way to put it, right? Zerg drone saturation, especially in the early game, but in general, is very different. Right? Like, you'll do things like 1 drone per patch, oftentimes. So, like, for instance, he is missing that. But adding more drones into the main, for instance, like if you add 3 drones into here, they're not going to be as efficient as 1 drone per patch, like the per drone efficiency, but it's not terrible, right? It's not absolutely wretched, I'm dead, right? So Zerg can kind of regain some of their mining through that by oversaturating their other patches a little bit, which is, you know, obviously as Terran and Protoss, well, Protoss in this matchup and then Terran in all matchups, you know, they're always going to be oversaturating for those extra minerals. Anyways, Stargate on the way. I'm actually really wondering for Jaeyoon what the third base is going to be, because I feel like this is probably not one, but he does, you know, the way he has this set up, I'm like, I don't know, maybe. Maybe that could be a base. I think obviously this one is going to be a little bit easier to defend. He's going to be able to mine this out. Looks like Jaeyoon right now clearing one of the eggs. Wants a clear route. This is even Dragoons are going to be able to fit out here, which is kind of nice. Triple cannon at the front, fearing it all in, which does seem to be occurring. Kaido moving up with those Hydras very, very quickly. Some Lings being made as well. Actually brings everything home. Huh. Is he going to try to break the cannons? He is going for the cannon bust. But it's against these cannons. Oh, dude, I don't know. Okay, gets in, and we'll start targeting these. Dude, this is so annoying. Oh, my God. And Jaeyoon is going to add more cannons over here. So this is incredibly annoying. You know, these cannons will block mining still. Oh, my God. Look. I mean, I definitely have complained about having no melee units when I fight against Darkstorm, but thank God something like this does not happen to Terran here. You siege a tank, and this would never happen. Maybe Reavers a little bit, but, you know, this is kind of crazy what Kaido is having to go through here to try to get that expansion back. Right now, this feels to me to be very Jaeyoon favored. The thing is, he's dictating the entire game right now. The entire game, like, he is basically deciding what's happening. He's got a good amount of cannons. Kaido is coming across the map. He has a very healthy amount of Hydras at this point. Maybe he's able to break through. All right, comes up, pushes those Zealots back. Don't forget he has some Zerglings here. They can't really be that helpful. Maybe if the Zealots run up. Starting to hold position here to try to break the wall. Oops. Got to be careful about that. Dude, this cannon is so hard. It's so hard to dodge. Shuttle being made super fast, by the way. Very, very fast for a shuttle. We'll see what he ends up doing. Oh my god, are we going to see Corsair Reaver? Maybe. Maybe. Plenty of cannons. Still can't believe that those two cannons are shutting down absolutely everything for KAIDO, who does not have a layer yet, by the way. Citadel coming up here as well. Corsair kind of just scattering around. Looks like Jaeyoon has decided to take this base. I mean, if you're going to expand like that, it can make sense. Picks up that Reaver. He's going to pull the Reaver back behind the Robo. I like that. Does get one Scarab off, but only kills a single Ling with it. The Hydra's trying to break through, and that's going to be at GG. And that means that Jaeyoon is going to take this down. And that team that Hawk has drafted here of Hawk, Crossy, Jaeyoon, and Razz are going to win this first part as we go into Winners League.